whatever the fuck one. All right, so it's live on my side. Should be live on other people's side. Slap. Nobody can see your cam, but I don't know if you might want to turn it off.
It's still saying. It's still saying. Oh, here we go.
Here we
Live.
go.
SGK.
PRK, World of Whoopings, champ.
We gotta get the gang. We gotta get the gang paraphernalia out.
Oh my god.
This shit gonna be hard because I'm sick as a fucking dog right now, man. My shit been leaking all day, but yo, Oshay, man, I seen your video, bro. I think I gotta answer your calling. I think I gotta speak to you and holler at you since you labeled the question.
What happened to the sound? I think you just muted yourself.
No, you know what happened? I'm glad I got two different. Can y'all hear me clear?
Yeah.
And these damn iPhone headphones got a short in it, so the shit be like trying to dial a fucking voice control, and it be doing all kind of shit. So I find my wires so I can throw on the beats for the secondary audio. Either way, I gotta pull up O'Shea Duke Jackson's video. That's what I didn't do because I went to go find the different tribes of Africa, fucking with Chris and shit, because he reminded me of that aspect that I didn't have on my screen. So let me go on to the second screen. Because O'Shea said some shit today. So, who's that? Eric is in the building. Salute, OG, salute. Where is this O'Shea Duke Jackson video now? Styles dropped the video today. That was interesting.
Today or last night?
No, he dropped one today when he was in the park, again, snitching on himself. I don't know why. You don't go in Central Park and say, this is where I go smoke. And this is the second time, it was like the second time I'm here smoking. Joe, stop doing that shit. Right, so let me fast forward this shit. And turn it. I don't know how loud I can make this nigga.
Other dangerous and ferocious animals.
I guess I'm gonna have to bring this back because I want people to understand why I'm doing this today.
For a group of people who were here in Africa, or there in Africa, millions of years before.
All right, so what he's saying on this level, right, is since the black man claims to be here for millions of years, how did we end up being taken over by what we call a race that was inferior to us? Understandable. I don't know if y'all can hear this. I'm trying to play this one live and loud. I might have to call off flat for this. Let me see. You can hear it?
Kinda.
Africans competing against other dangerous lions and buffalo or natural predators that were in harm's way. Cheetahs, tigers.
All right. So okay, let me stop. Fuck this nigga's video. Listen, what he was doing in the history of the video, right? He was suggesting that the primate or the primitive advancement of humans being inside the black culture, where we had to defend ourselves while trying to find food from lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my! He's saying, that's a theory, that we had to deal with something like that as a theory in Africa. I don't understand how that's a theory when today it's still in play if you don't have guns. So the Wahhabi tribe, those who are still catching and killing animals with nets and spears, don't have the luxuries of guns. This was known in '83. It's known today. Now, whomever from the Wahhabi tribe went and put on a suit and tie and grabbed themselves a gun does not represent the tribe who stood inside their legacy and origins as being an African tribe and doing what they do. So point blank right there. I know how people like to chastise the black community and things of that nature, but who we are here is not who we were there. And it'll never be the same fucking thing. But I like to say this. There is nothing new under the sun. So in the millions of years that he likes to describe as the black community, black people's origin, and us saying we've been here for a million years, in the millions of years, we've had civilizations rise and fall. Not just one, numerous civilizations all over the continent, from the southern east to the southern west, to the upper west, to the Nile Valley. There's been constant civilizations prior to any European civilization. And I'll be the first, or I'll be the loudest to say, prior to a Mesopotamian civilization. You'll find most Hebrew Israelites and others will say that Mesopotamia is the cradle of life, but the evidence to prove that is real hard to find except for in the Bible. The evidence to prove that Ethiopia and the beginning of the Nile is the origin of life and that it's still originating original life can be proven today, here, and now. So that's the problem in history. It's not a problem for the black man who stands up and says that, yes, the origin of human civilization comes from Africa. So here's another issue I have. He brought up the fact that white men, we say that white people come from Neanderthals, quote, that we say that they were primate and weren't really intellectual. Well, I've been bringing apart the study of white folk have been studying Neanderthal, and they've been collecting evidence and building a theory onto how Neanderthals lived. And they were a community based on how these white people had formed it. They buried their dead, they had trinkets and jewels, they had shaved stones, linens, and, you know, they had a hierarchy of civilization, which I'm not going to knock. What I'm going to say is that they were Neanderthals. They survived inside Europe. They were not exactly human. They were a derivative of humans. That's why we can go back in time and we can find Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon or Homo sapiens sapiens dwelling in the same place. Y'all want to know where that same place is that the Neanderthal and the Homo sapiens sapiens dwelled in the same place? Well, that would be Israel. If that doesn't strike something inside your mind, then well, that might be a problem. But listen, that was Israel where they find humans, as we call ourselves now, and Neanderthal collaborating or cohabitating together, and in fact having children with each other. This is genetic facts. This is historical facts. This is historical evidence. This is archaeological evidence. If I'm able to be disputed, please provide the evidence, because I already have the evidence to prove Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal and Homo sapiens sapien cohabitated in Israel millennia ago. So now when we look at studies that says, oh, Europeans, if not most Europeans, not only come from the ancestry of Charlemagne the God, but most of them have 4% Neanderthal, at the least. Not at the most, at the least they have 4% Neanderthal inside their genetic structure. We have to understand that, well, they come from Neanderthal. If they don't come from Neanderthal, their primary ancestor did. And their primary ancestor right now is Charlemagne the Great. Not Charlemagne the God from Power and Five, Charlemagne the Great, who ruled over Europe long, long time ago. So now, what Oshay Duke Jackson is trying to imply is that blacks lost any control that we had over Africa. Cool. But after the millions of years of millennia, guess what blacks did? The same shit we're doing to each other now. And what might that be? Arguing and fighting. Who's a coon, who's not a coon. Who's pro-black, who's not pro-black. Who hates black women, who loves black women. The same shit happened years ago. And you'll find Cleopatra going with a Mark Antony or Caesar or whoever the fuck caused the final collapse of Egypt, because there was collapses before that. There was intermingling before that. There was taking in the Easterners, and then it was taking in the Westerners, such as the Libyans and other people like that, into the Egyptian culture, which really destroyed it. It wasn't Nile Valley civilization anymore. It was outsiders inside the rule And that's understandable because when you have kingdoms, you tend to try to align yourself with other kingdoms. And the best way to do that is to give your daughter to their son or give your son to their daughter. That aligns kingdoms, period, because now you have a bloodline between the two kingdoms, and no one wants to destroy a bloodline, especially if it's a ruling party bloodline. So here again, how did black people become destroyed? Well, I do have evidence of when the Moors fell from Spain after 1492, when they were kicked out by Queen Isabella and King Ferdinando, that the Moroccan Empire consistently attacked, and these are the mixed breed Arab black people that came or were expelled from Spain back into Africa. What they seen after they left Spain was Timbuktu. What Timbuktu was still a great empire. There was another Musa in charge. It wasn't Mansa, but there was another Musa in charge. And they consistently attacked him until they dwindled down his army. I'm talking about 15, 16 different attacks, not caring about your soldiers or how they survived. It was just a tactic to wear down the other opponent's army. That's what happened inside the proper, and where we came from. If we focus on West Africa, where we came from, that's a problem. So when I talk to Moors, I like to speak to them on that level because that right there is a problem. That right there is an angle that needs to be reached, that needs to be spoken about. But if they don't want to speak about it, then we don't want to talk about the fall of the black community. Now, let's talk about history and information, right? Well, we do know that they burned down the library in Alexandria. What was good about Timbuktu was when the infiltrators and marauders came in, they didn't hide the gold, they didn't hide the jewels, they didn't hide the iron or the weapons, they hid the books. That's why you still have an extensive wealth of knowledge from the actual time of Timbuktu, still written in Arabic from a black empire. To this day, I can find a book here in New York City inside the museum. You can find books in several other places, but I don't know how many of you were watching when the black form of ISIS, Al-Shabaab, ran into Timbuktu. They hid the books again and buried them again because they understand that all people want to do is destroy a black history. And inside the books of Timbuktu, if you could read ancient Arabic, you'll find black history from 7/11 to 17, I don't know how long. It's purely black Islamic history in North Africa. And it's not the same Islamic history that you'll find that enslaved us in East Africa, but in North Africa and West Africa, it was a different Islamic history. There was poetry, there was writing, there was literature, there was understanding. And the fact that books were held in higher standards than gold tells you exactly where our civilization was at that point. So had we had the time to advance and learn what natural resources were at that time, then we could have had a different type of progression. We could have had a different type of understanding or morals. Had we understood what tungsten was, or copper, or cobalt, we could be in charge of the cell phone operation and corporation. But we did not understand what these things were in 1700, nor did anyone else on the face of this earth. So to use that against the African or the black man is another fallacy, because no one on earth knew what these natural resources were worth or how they could be used at the time that they were used. So for him to come up and talk about that and then kind of intertwine that into black men being the originators of history and us having millions of years, are you saying in the millions of years that we needed cell phones and smartwatches and iPads? Should we have done this in the BCs instead of the ADs? I'm not understanding the argument that he was putting forward. That's why I have a problem with it. He put the argument so mixed that I thought I was watching a Quentin Tarantino movie. You can't tell me about the pygmies, but then tell me about no black people building fucking tractors and trailers in the same context, because pygmies didn't live in that type of lifestyle or world, nor did the black people who were around when the Industrial Revolution kicked off, did they live in a pygmy kind of world? Well, some of them did, but they weren't paying attention to the Industrial Revolution. They already had a system that was working properly for them. So why have an industrialized, super extreme culturalization of a society when you're making all this food and majority of it can't be consumed anyway? We look at this country now, we throw away more food than third world countries eat. Here, today, now. So to look at what he's saying is irrelevant. It's not the same argument. He can keep playing that argument and distracting people with different arguments here and there to make his presentation seem right, but I've learned that from another person. LA likes to ask weird questions to make his presentation seem right. It's not right. You're conflating information, and now you think you can make me argue the new information that you asked me. I'll be telling you about some real shit, and you're going to ask me another question, and I got to address that question, forgetting that I was already addressing it inside the original argument that I was bringing forth. I'm not going to fall with the dookie questions. I'm not going to be swayed. The target is, was the black man the original inside society? And yes, we was. Yes, we built a lot of civilizations, and they all fell and crumbled. There were so many civilizations but after us that all came and fell. That shows you that civilizations come and fall. Empires come and fall. So to say that, oh, well, you as the black man, you had millions of years, how come you're not in charge no more? Well, maybe they learned something from us and didn't make the same mistakes. Are they making mistakes now? Oh, hell to the fucking yeah. Are they crumbling and falling now in certain positions? Hell yeah. But are you willing to accept that that's falling there, or do you have a stake in them not falling down in that in that position? Because I don't. And so I can see it from an objective point of view and be like, yo, I think Jeremiah Wright said it right. He said, God damn Rome. He said, God damn Greece. God damn Egypt. God damn America. Because they're doing the same shit. You ain't got to be religious. You just got to realize that empires get strong, they get powerful, they do the same shit, and they fall based upon that same shit that they do, which is fuck over the people. Once you fuck over the people, people take you down. You end up in anarchy. You end up with a civilization like Gaul. I don't know, he's in Europe now, but Gaul, or the ones who sacked the Romans. Who was that? The Saxons and the other guys? It was the Saxons and something else who sacked Rome. These guys weren't inside a structure. They were wild men running around and protecting their little clan, and they sacked Rome and destroyed it, set the shit on fire, all kind of shit because they wasn't feeling it. And that's when the whole country turned into Gaul for a bit of time. And it went to the Holy Roman Empire, where we can find black popes inside the Holy Roman Empire, black deities, black knights, all of these things. You can go in Europe. There's black family crest. In fact, let me pull that shit up on the main screen right now, because I had the picture up. Oh, damn, I just X'd some shit up. This one. Yo, nope. 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 All right. Oh, I'll pull this up real quick. Cause
you know there's a book on the Black Family Crest?
There's a bunch of them.
Seen a few of them, but I used to have one. My pops had one of them books. Shit was thick as fuck, full of information that none of us even knew about until he presented it to us.
No, here it goes right here. These are the family crests. I just popped it on my main screen. These are family crests. Yep. This one here is Scotland. This one already has the Jamaican colors in it. Andreas, Ashford, Aggies. In fact, my Blackamoors, that's a main one. You have this Moor right here. You have this family crest. Why do white families have black images on their family crest? Why are these images old as may be, but they come from Europe. All of these images, they come from Europe. These are not fabricated. I didn't make these up. I didn't put these on Google yesterday to wipe them up. This is not a fake Google account. You can literally go to Google right now for yourself and look them up. Just type in Black Family Crest as I did, and you'll find them. So the question goes to whom or what has O'Shea Duke Jackson been taught? Whom are his teachers in history or historical facts? Because I knew about blacks being in power in 4th grade from a white Jewish teacher. He taught me. And he told me to go look. And I've been looking ever since. And I found what I need to find. And I've been an asshole ever since. I done debated Moors, Hebrew, everybody based on what's out here. I'm not fighting you on being a pro-black. I'm fighting you on being pro-fact. And these facts can't be denied. They're here. There's this right here. Boom. There's this video right here. It's on my screen. It should be live. It says, when the Moors ruled Spain, full documentary, live, on YouTube, for you to go see for yourself. There's nothing I can tell you that I'm sitting here lying about. Granada. That's what Spain was called before it was called Iberia or whatever. In fact, the Iberian Peninsula was named after a black man. Tariq ibn Ra. Let me find his name right now, because here it goes. Tariq ibn Ziyad, or Tariq ibn Ra, or Tariq Iberia, as they called it, who ruled the Umayyad Caliphate, or who started and got it popped off back in 711 when he landed on Spain and then burned the ships and told his people, we're not turning back, we just move forward. And when he did that, this was his empire after. This is what he conquered, and this is what Islam ruled prior to what we know now. This was all an Islamic empire. This was the Islamic state. So anybody who can see the screen right now, for the most part, anybody who's watching the broadcast can see the screen. But from Cordoba, Koronin, Fusta, Damascus, Kufa, Isham, you're looking at Turkey, Iran, you're looking at Uzbekistan, you're looking at Egypt, all the way to Morocco, and you're looking at the bottom half of Spain as being an empire ruled by one caliphate, by one religion, by one government, by one structure. 711 started, or basically formed, by a black dude or a bunch of black guys who were part of an Arab invasion into North Africa. I'm going to call it that, an Arab invasion into North Africa. But it's only so far that the Arabs truly went. The rest was taken on by Africans. They call them Berbers now, but if you look at the definition of Berber and you pop them up inside your Google, they're going to show you a bunch of like pale-faced dudes with blonde eyes. You'd have to dig even further to find the black Berbers. I'm freaked out right now because I don't know if anybody else can see this, but this right here looks like a fucking face. The tip of Turkey into Greece and Macedonia and all that other shit, this looks like a fucking face. It looks like two eyes. Are y'all looking at this? Two eyes.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Mouth. That shit just weirded me out. And
it looks like somebody looking to the right a little bit.
Yeah, right? I'm not bugging, right? So that should just freak me the fuck out. That should freak me all the way the fuck out. That's probably that dude looking over his goddamn empire. All right? So if I'm bugging, you go to Wikipedia, you can look this up. All these things, you can click on each highlighted portion and just study these parts for yourself. Spain, Portugal, the Moors, Granada, Iberia. Study it for yourself. Come back and tell me I'm lying. Because if I am lying, then I'm flying. But I'm not. These are facts. These are historical facts. They come from white people. That's why I like to use them. I would love to sit down here and quote Claude Anderson, Dr. Ben, Dr. Francis Kress, Renaud Guerra. I would love to quote them, but these guys get pushed away by white authors and historians. So I say, fuck it, I'm going to go straight to the white guy and then point you to the black guy afterwards so that you can see what the black guy really found and that the white guy was sugarcoating. And it's not a racial thing. I didn't invite Scott to the motherfucking call. Somebody want to invite Skull Hard to this shit? Matter of fact, I got it. You know you gotta have Skull in here. He got a wrench. Who else got a wrench? You got a wrench?
I don't know.
I don't even know. I ain't even in the chat room. I wasn't even paying this shit no attention, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm on the iPad.
This nigga, I'm on the iPad. There's only 6 people listening right now. They'll catch up to this shit after.
I ain't even in the chat room. I wasn't even paying attention.
Let me mute myself because I really don't like listening to me. Okay. There we go. Chat room is lit and livid. Shout out to the chat room. Shout out to the chat. Yes, Sko is the only motherfucker in there with a wrench. Oh, let's be fun and give Chris one. Yeah, so he can block people in my section. Now that's going to be fun. Chris, you now have a wrench. Mika, I'm going to give you one too. Enjoy yourself. If you see a fucker, blow their head off. Sounds like fun. Eric, you didn't have one. I'm going to have to find you, Slap, and eventually give you a wrench.
Yeah, my name's changed.
That shit happens. You know you're going to get one.
Nope, I'm wrenchless.
You're not in the chat room, so I can't give you one, fucker. This is like a new channel. I don't be on this shit. I'm just starting to have these topic conversations. Because I be at work listening to this shit, and I'm like, wait a minute. Did he really just say this dumb shit? Like, you can't tell me you're a medical student, but you don't know this part. Like, that means they've been just banging with this medical shit, and they'll give you like a history class and say, white people, white people, white people, white people, white people, and then walk away. And you're just like, black people are dumb. Bro, are you fucking kidding me? Half of the shit that they got, the building of the ships, they're coming down, the maps. Oh, shit, I didn't even go into the maps. I'm going to have to save that for a whole nother show. Because European maps are not defined. They have no definition until like the 1500s. After that, Africa was like some fucking little place that they sail around. They only got like half of the map drawn on one side and the other half drawn on the other, and they usually put those two together and make Africa extremely small. Probably where you get the small Africa map from. But eventually they start getting into it, and they start looking up, they start getting these map drawers and things like that. So I got all my maps from Princeton, I think it was. I would pull up my Instagram, but I'm not trying to share that right now. I prefer Oshay Duke Jackson to go to my Instagram and study the shit past the fuckery. Because there is fuckery, and the only reason I put fuckery on my Instagram is because there's actually police who observe this shit. Friends of Life, digital map. Let me see. Nah, I need the Princeton joint. They got this map collection from either Princeton or Yale, and it shows all the maps that Europeans had. Historical global maps. Let me see. This shit is crazy though, and that's why I had to touch on this, because it's not about us being the first ones. The first males to walk on Earth. Yes, we were there. Okay, this is genetical fact. Like, you're in fucking medical science. You should already know this part. Now, his real problem should be the historical aspect of it. Well, were you really the ones to create this civilization? Yes, we were. Were you really the ones to create or to move into Europe before the Ice Age? Yes, we were. Were you the ones to really move into China before the Great Wall? Yes, we were. Were you there before? Or did monsoons take you to India? Yes, they did. Like, these things that we can prove genetically, scientifically. Now, in fact, here goes a map right here. This is a European map, an ancient European map. This is the whole of Africa in the ancient European map. Look at this shit. This is what they drew. What year was this? I can't even find it right now. This is what they drew. If you look at the top here, this is Spain, the Iberian Peninsula. That would make this Morocco. This is going to be Libya. This is Egypt. Ethiopia's around here. All of a sudden, I forgot what this is. This is South Africa. This is the whole coast. This is the whole west coast of Africa. How many of you have seen the new fucking maps of Africa? How long is this one little piece according to this hook? Like, this shit is crazy long. You feel what I'm saying? And if you look at the names, they call this one Libya. Is all the way down here, and it's also here. I don't even know how to say this shit, but I know this is this right here is Mali, Songhai, Benin. All of this down here is Mali, Songhai, Benin, Gold Coast, and things of that nature. This is primarily where most of us came from. This portion right here. This is where Mandingos are up here. Moorish Empire is over here, and if you can see these mountains, I don't know if people can see what I'm pointing at, but if you see these mountains right here, this is what the Moroccan king had to keep crossing in order to fight the Timbuktu Empire, the Mali Empire, Songhai. And he sent many troops over these mountains. Half of them died climbing the mountains. You can look this shit up. I'm not bullshitting these people. Half of them died climbing the mountains. And he had to send I don't know how many different troops before he started disrupting what was going on inside Mali, Songhai, and all that other shit. So let me get up out of there. I love my maps. I'd rather study maps. And for the most part, their maps are all fucked up. They're all stupid. Here goes a better depiction of the map. And these are maps made in the 1500s when European explorers were just now tasting what Africa was, just now smelling the interior. And for the most part, they didn't go into the interior. They just did not go into the interior. What you said it was? Control plus, right, Slug? There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So now this is a better depiction of Africa, but now you know this is a newer map. They got the goddamn equator over here. They got the Gold Coast. They got things labeled. If I can really push it in, I don't know how much they'll let us see. Because if I could see the names, if you could see the names, you'd actually see there was a Negro land, there was a black land, there was all that shit that they say that black people couldn't, you ain't have no home to go to, there is no Negro land. There used to be a Negro land. There used to be a Negro land. In fact, there's a map where the whole top portion of Africa is called Barbaria. And if anybody knows the Barbary Treaties, where are we? That's the first thing I had up on here. The Barbary Treaties, here you go. Now, most North Africans are considered barbarians, if not white people now. But these here, you can find this for yourself. These are the Barbary Treaties, 1786 to 1816. What was happening was America was sailing ships into the Iberian Peninsula. So from America, they were sailing ships to this little portion right here at the top, from the Atlantic into the Mediterranean. Africans was capturing them, they ships, and they cargo, and holding this shit for ransom. If you think I'm lying, there's a book called White Slave African Masters. A bunch of this shit in the book, lays it flat out. I'm guessing something. See you later. You smoking some good shit right now. That's my next mission.
Sorry, I thought I muted that. My bad. Go on.
Yeah, smoke that shit. Pass that shit. So now here goes another. This is a documentary again. I have the documentary pulled up. It's on. What's up, Trish? Right. So the documentary. Here's the Wikipedia to it. But here's the official documentary. You can watch the whole fucking hour and 42 minutes on YouTube for yourself. They're going to show you the universities that were built by blacks inside fucking Europe. Not just some bullshit. I got to get rid of that. Not just little. These universities are still here today. Who cares about Hispaniola? Islam invasion of Spain. Basically explained it. Goodbye. I gotta find. Where the fuck did I put that shit? Islamic University. Oh shit. Here we go. My fault for the pause, but I gotta pull this up. it's hard to find some of this shit because they bury it, but there's so many. I got a website on my phone right now. Like, it just busts out all the information of fucking Europe and the black deities in Europe. So when Oshay was like, yo, yeah, I think he said he's in Poland or some shit studying medical. I'm like, bro, you have the opportunity to get in a fucking cab or rent a car and go to a castle and look at the family crest at the front of these castles that show and prove black people were there. Black people are on the family crest of fucking Europeans. Why are we on their castles? Why are we on their forts? Why is this fucking picture so significant? There's a white lady holding a black man with a fucking bandana around his head. Moorish head. They'll say they cut the heads off. Why did they cut the heads off? What was the French Revolution about? What was the Spanish the expulsion of Jews and Muslims about? What was the fucking Crusades about? Who were they killing? Black men. They don't really enforce that, and he's already in Europe, so he should find this evidence. He should be able to go to a library and pull this shit out of the oldest sector of the library, because that information has been written down. It's been copied from European historians who witnessed this. They just don't promote it. They're just not going to throw it in the educational curriculum and say, yes, we were ruled by black men, women, and children, that the Roman Empire had black popes and things of that. These things are all proven. Like, you got the Pope bowing and praying to a black Madonna and a black Jesus. Does that not have a significance in Europe? Does that not tell you that we were a significant influence? But why we are where we are right now is simple and plain. It's the same way we are on YouTube. We all fight each other. You have a Sarnetta versus a Moore. You have jabbing bullets who's calling out, oh God, and in the black media on behalf of Sarnetta. You have Israel Doctrine fighting the Sarnetta. You have Slack versus Victor Moon. You have LA thinking he's an intellectual. You have all this shit in our little fucking sector right here, right now, to prove exactly why it was so easy for a European conqueror to just walk in, observe, and say, oh, these niggas is fucked up anyway. Let me slide in right here, be on this person's side, give this person resources, and make sure we take resources from this other person and watch the conflict ensue. Divide and conquer. It's a very old, I think it's a Grecian tactic, is it not? That comes from Caesar, divide and conquer. The old Grecian tactic, which I know he learned from somewhere else. That's probably why they burned down the libraries in Alexandria. But I could be fluffing my shit full of shit, but I have evidence here to show, prove, to go back to what I'm talking about. So again, I want to address this one last thing before I just let everybody else say what they got to say. These tribes of Africa, these tribes of West Africa, I want to talk about these tribes of West Africa. Zulu Nation is a Southern African tribe, right? And Zulu Nation is a very controversial tribe because they basically encompass a lot of other tribes. Shaka Zulu basically, dominated a bunch of other tribes in order to form an alliance against oppressors. That would be in the European coming in trying to do what the fuck he was trying to do. He formed that. His later predecessors did not fare so well, but that's the Zulu Nation. You have the Maasai, Sang Bushmen, Yoruba, Xhosa, Hasu, Himba, Oroma, Alejin, Shaga. That's 10. I know they're missing the Yoruba, the Igbe, Ashanti, the Mandingo. I'm forgetting how many other tribes. There's so many other freaking tribes that's out there, but all I'm saying is there's enough tribes in West. There's at least 100 for you to find in West Africa alone. So you gotta understand that tribalism is tribalism. You'll have people in different cultures fighting other cultures for whatever, territory, space, resources, gas, fish, food, water, sex, women, They fight for every fucking thing. This is human nature. Same thing goes in China. There's at least at least 100 different Chinese ethnicities in China. People don't want to look that up. Chinese are not all Chinese. They're different ethnicities of Chinese. This shit is as old as time for people to be fighting each other. And when people fight each other, a conqueror or somebody who's stronger or not fighting themselves or their other peers can come in and just destabilize and destroy you because you're not collectively bargained or collectively put together. All I'm saying is Oshay Duke Jackson. Regardless of the argument of saying that, we can walk around saying that the black man is original, I'm not using that argument based on pro-blackism. I'm using it based on white scientific facts. I'm using it based on white science books. The other information I get might be from black scholars, but they had to study white scientific books unless they were geneticists or scientists. They had to go study the archaeological information, the information that white scientists wrote, then collaborate and put it together and find different sources and collaborate and put that together to formulate their own opinion and their own observation of a situation with what you see currently running today. And ain't nothing new under the sun, Oshay Duke Jackson. So to call our people stupid for failing and losing would be the same thing to call the Russians stupid. They had a great empire. They had czars. They had fucking kings and queens. They lost that part. Then they had the USSR. They had fucking nukes, and they were lying to the Americans, flying the same fucking bomber around a circle 10, 20 times. We thought they had bombers that can come to us. They played the game. They fell. They failed. Do you think America is not next? Do you think other nations are not next? Do you think it can't happen to you? Do you think that it's new? I don't understand what's the problem with us saying that we were first when genetically it's proven, when historically it's proven, when archaeological proven, with what do they call that shit when you study rocks? When you study rocks, it's proven. When you study civilizations and the rise and fall, it's proven. When you study migration, it's proven. So what disproof do we have, and what makes us stupid for migrating, spreading out, or spreading ourselves too thin, and then succumbing to not being a strength because we're spread? I don't know, but I had to hop on here and I had to talk about it, and I can keep talking about it. I'd rather challenge that dude. I should have invited him. I tried to, but I don't follow him on Google+, so fuck all that. At the end of the day is, let's talk about some real shit. Instead of calling our people stupid, let's look at the facts. You telling me you're a medical student, that means you had to have studied psychology and sociology. And them two right there alone they're going to help you understand what happened in the past to the black culture. The Bible can help you understand what happened in the past because it is a historical documentation. Regardless of the mumbo jumbo and the illusion and the spookity, it does tell you how certain shit went down back in the days when wars happened, who fought what, who fought who. Oh, that shit is accurate because it's written on walls. It's written in other places. It's documented in these other civilizations. So that's where it becomes a historical documentation. Look at that. Get those historical documents and see what happened. You have a civilization rise and be conquered and absorbed by another civilization. Did they lose the sense of themselves? No, they were just incorporated into that civilization. With that being said, the floor is open. If anybody else wants to hop back on, Chris, you can hop back on. Anybody else wants to chime in? If I'm wrong, let me know. Point something out that I said that was wrong. And shine some light on this, because at the end of the day, what that brother was saying was false. And it was presenting a narrative to our people that was making them feel dumb for even having an understanding of who they were, what they were, where they came from, how they came from it, who their tribes were, how they ended up in this position, or the dynamics that led them to this position. It's just saying that we're dumb for letting the white man come in and take over us. When, well, it's better to make this enemy my friend in order to defeat this other enemy inside who I can't defeat without this new enemy's resources. Guns, liquor, things of that nature. which a lot of our tribes were sold out for. So, black on black crime ain't a new thing. It's old. Very old. Very, very old. And that's all I'm saying, Mr. Jackson, Mr. O'Shea. We can have an intellectual conversation, maybe a one-on-one. But for now, whatever, Zikos, but for now, this is all I'm saying. This is what I'm bringing to the table. This is where I'm coming from. And it's not something new to me. I've been doing this shit on Instagram and all that other shit for years. Fuck Facebook because they corny with that shit. They'll block you. But at the end of the day, I had to come out and express this shit. I wanted to have fun and chime in on the last few sections of black male privilege, but this shit struck a nerve with me today. So, I'm on it. Shout out to the panel. Who's live with us? I got Eric, I got Scott. I got myself up here about 3-4 times. And I got Slap.
Yeah.
What's up, good people? Wait, is Patricia still here?
Nah, she dropped off.
Okay, Patricia decked out. She's like, I ain't talking about this. Nigga, I don't want to hear nothing about this.
So does he not know that people...
Yes, the beginning shall be the end.
Of course. Does he not know that people can educate and better themselves and then take over countries?
Why would I not learn from my damn oppressor? Were we not oppressing?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we ran the world at one time, well, when we ruled the world, we was not stingy in keeping the information all to ourselves. And in doing so, we had to meet some slime balls that said, hold on, we could do this in a way that will make them not even want to attempt to do it back to us. And they did so. And it all came from us to begin with, trying to be humans and trust motherfuckers. It just came back to bite us in the ass. Now, somewhere along the line, we lost our way of learning and getting into the studies and fucking connecting with, you know, the real shit we need to be connected with. So now we're here. We're at the bottom of a revolving door that spins up.
Yo, remember Ocean Flat?
Yeah.
Remember Ocean from TRS? So
Yep.
She asked me a question one time, and I think I shut her down as soon as I said the answer because she was like, "Damn, you're right." She was like, "What do you think was the fall of the black man ruling in civilization?" I said, "Pussy." Damn, B-Dub, you're right. Yeah, it was pussy. It wasn't just black. It wasn't black pussy. It was pussy. Pussy of all colors, all generations, all. We conquered pussy. We had babies with these conquered pussies, and we held our babies to higher standards. These babies became in charge. Them mulattoes, as they like to call them, were corrupted because now they have an allegiance to two different types of people. They have an allegiance to the slave, and they have an allegiance to the master. The slave being their mother. Ooh, we're supposed to love our mother, cuddle our mother. Well, with that allegiance comes weakness towards the father. You're not going to hold steadfast the father's empire. You're going to coddle and kowtow to the mother's empire and her people. And, well, falls of empires come that way. It ain't just our empire. A bunch of empires fell because of pussy. Troy?
Professor V-Dub, I have a question.
Yes, sir. V-Dub, walk out the room.
Just showing some respect. You got some knowledge here, but I'm curious. I'm stupid, man. Okay, like I don't understand one term. What is this mulatto? What does that mean exactly?
Well, a mulatto or moreno in the Spanish terms would be a mixed or non-Negro. Black.
Okay.
So when they say negro, they're preferably speaking about, or they say negro, nigger, they're preferably speaking about the darker ones that were captured, the enslaved. Mm-hmm. The mulatto moreno was the one doing the capturing, but both of them look the same, to be honest with you. While the mulatto might have had a mix, and nowadays being a mulatto means that you're mixed between white and black. Back then it just meant you were mixed between European and black, or just a lighter form, or Arab and black. Or you were just part of the ruling faction. You were a mulatto, and you captured negros. And when you sold people in that time, you sold negros, and you could sell negros as a mulatto, which is weird. But when I'm speaking to Spanish people, and they try to pull that negro shit on me, I say, no, moreno, and they shut the fuck down because they understand what I'm talking about. You're not calling me a lower class person when you say negro, negra. No, you're going to respect me. You're going to say mulatto or moreno or morena. Because once they say that, it's a different form of black person. It ain't that one that they can disrespect. And once you can understand that as a black person, you step up to them with that. No, don't call me negro. Moreno. Chill, man. Check yourself before I fuck you up. And they respect that shit. But you have to understand the context of it. So it's minute, very minute definition of difference, but it's the same fucking person. You get it, Scott?
A little bit, yeah. So it's similar. Is it similar to the term of being swirling?
I can be a negro. I don't know, because the Moreno can't swirl with a negro. It'll just be black people fucking. A Moreno can't swirl with a negro. It'd just be two black people fucking.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's not. I mean, like a Moreno and a negro, the same black people. It's just a hierarchy of status.
Gotcha.
Bullshit.
All right.
Goes trying to find a way to swirl without it being racist or without me telling him it's racist. That's
all. So, whatever you like. You don't need permission. For me, come to New York. You can stick it wherever you want.
You're right.
Don't listen to him, Sco. That's racist.
New York, you can stick it in Asian, Indian. You ain't even got to touch a white or black girl. You stay in between. It ain't racist, Sco. It ain't racist. It ain't swirling either.
Gotcha. Thank you, Vito.
Let's go. You got that advice?
I'm not taking no more L's this week. Fuck y'all.
Yeah. I've got about 5 and it's only Tuesday. Already gotten 5 and it's only Tuesday.
Fucking crazy. Welcome to the bus stop. Oh, Patrick got the bus stop treatment. Shouldn't have fell asleep live on the you did.
Yep.
Shout out to Captain, man. I think I invited him, but that shit was funny as hell. But I'm saying, I'm done teaching, y'all. I'm done teaching. I just want to have fun now. I'm going back to the bus stop and cooking niggas. I'm roasting. I'm doing all kind of shit. But I don't like people to insult my people in that kind of way and think, oh, I ain't watching your video, so Oshay Duke Jackson, this one's for you. I hope other people show you this video, tell you, leave the information up here. I could be a dick and just repost all these links in my description box, but no. It's very easy to find black hierarchy in Europe or black fucking family crest in Europe. It's just type the shit in. It's Moors in Europe. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not lying to you. In fact, this shit is written in history from 711 to 1492. 1492 is a specific year. I've been asking that dusty bum from fucking Benton Harbor to step his game up and answer what the fuck happened in 1492 that led black people to where we are right now. I've asked this nigga that question 3 or 4 fucking times. You want to talk about me cooking burgers, spatulas, and sing songs? Understandable. But you want to be a credible pro-black? Let's talk about 1492. I don't want to talk to you if you pro-black and you don't understand what happened in 1492. Let's not talk about nothing at all. Because what happened in 1492 led to us being enslaved this way, led to us being captured, led to us losing our stance and our control over civilizations. And 1492, it happened then, it happened there.
Damn it, Sco, it's all your fault.
Man, that figures.
Yeah, man.
We will never teach you the ways of black people again.
Sco was with the princess. Like, Spain, bitch. Okay. You got a wrench, I'm leaving. So it's all good. You know, once you got a wrench, you can kick anybody out. Right? What they say? Mayflower landed, my bad, fuck the Mayflower. The Mayflower, 1492, the Mayflower landed only because they had a map. Where did they get the map from? And who was guiding them? Christopher Columbus's navigator.
You got to take the picture down if you're going to ask them questions like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could have swore that I thought 1492 was Columbus.
1492 was Columbus, but 1492 was all of the Moorish Empire when they were expelled.
I still got to act like Columbus wasn't sailing around just lost until he got help.
Yeah.
No, Columbus had a map. No, Columbus had a map.
No, I'm saying before that, true or false, before he got direction on his side, he used to sail blindly, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying. When he got access to that map and the map maker went to see him, it was a whole different story. He wouldn't have got to America if they wasn't in America first and gave him the way to get there.
I don't think the map maker. No, the map maker was Ponce de Leon. Ponce de Leon was the one who Florida with the 12 Africans that discovered the Florida Keys and the Arawak Indians or some shit down there in Florida, Georgia, and Louisiana. That's who Ponce de Leon is. But Columbus had his. Oh, fuck it. I might as well just go look the shit up since I'm here.
There's three of us in here right now, right?
Did I get?
Yeah, I think so. Anybody else can join. I should throw the link out too.
That's okay. I just had a question for the three of us that are in here. Does any of us truly believe that Columbus did discover it at first? I mean, discovered, I don't want to say discovered because there were already natives here, but...
Yeah, no, I don't believe that.
Columbus never discovered America. He never discovered America at all.
You believe that there were other, either it was the Vikings. They said there's rumors that the Vikings might have made it here first, and a couple of other groups, even some Muslims, I believe, is a report that there might have been. I don't know if they were Muslims back then, but
part of a Western African culture. The Benin Empire, they had the helmets on, the same helmets that you'll find on gold Benin statues from the Benin Empire, are the same helmets that you'll find buried or carved in stone in Mexico, and we call them the Olmecs. Not only in Mexico, but that just stems up the whole Mississippi Valley to where they buried giants under what they call mounds. Fuck the bullshit. There were other people and other navigators prior to oh shit, my Bluetooth must be down. Prior to any Columbus discovery, why is this shit dying? Wow, that's fucked up. Y'all guys gonna be able to head along. But yeah, prior to discovery from a Columbus or there was black folk here. There's tales of Nigerian people, what they call Nigeria now, sending 3 ships out here and only 1 returning. The other 2 stayed out here. Then you'll have stories of black men being hung by the Aztecs at a certain point in time because they were the ruling party, but this is after the Europeans came. So once the Europeans came, after 1492, and we found black folks here, what the story goes is that they kind of was not feeling that because they just been having rulership for 700 years under black oppression, the Umayyad Caliphate via the Moors in Spain, in Granada. They wasn't hearing that shit when they went to the New World and seen the same motherfuckers there. So they had these guys hung, killed, and destroyed. It's a lot of back and forth of what can be confirmed, what can't be. But a good book to look at is They Came Before Columbus, written by, who wrote this shit? Ivan Van Sertima. He did a lot of extensive research regarding this, and he used other people's research to correlate his research to the, oh God, what I spelled, Navigator, bro? Yeah, he used that research to correlate his own research. So that's something you can download for yourself. But his name was Pedro Nino. Pedro Alonso Nino. He was the navigator for Christopher Columbus. Black man, Moorish Empire. Now, they say there weren't any maps before then, but there are maps of Antarctica that we find today that were written before Columbus's journey. So,
okay. Quickly click on that nationality is Columbus when it says people also ask.
People of what?
It says right below there on your screen, it says people always ask, also ask, questions on your screen there.
Oh yeah, people. Where did Christopher Columbus land when he found America? I can tell you right now.
What nationality is Columbus? I want to see what they say.
Oh, he's not Spanish either. What nationality? He's definitely not Spanish. He came from someplace else. I think he's like matter of fact, the name Christopher Columbus is Anglicization of the Latin Christoris Columbus. His name is Italian. It's Cristoforo Colombo, and in Spanish it is Cristobal Colón. Wow, that's the town in Panama. He was born 31 October 1492, Republic, now part of Italy. Yeah, he's Italian.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I remember watching the Sopranos episode many years ago, more often than that, but whatever. And it was an episode about Columbus, and it was always, and they were very upset because because it was something about the Native American Pride Day at the same time, I think, or something about, they were complaining about it. And I kept thinking, well, shit, he was Italian? I thought he was Spanish, or I always thought, I'm stupid, apparently.
Notice how mainland Italians kind of have a disdain for Sicilians?
Mm-hmm.
That's because the Sicilians were basically dominated by Moorish.
I've heard that, yeah.
So that's why they had the dark hair and the long dark skin. You had tall, dark, and handsome, but they're still white.
That more olive complexion, correct?
Yes, that's because they got part black, but not just part black Arab, because it was black Arabs that ruled North Africa. Black Arabs ruled North Africa. They ruled Sicily. They had baby white people, and they just came out with this nice, straight black hair, beautiful eyes, and fucking skin that could absorb the sun and not kill them. Sicilians have it made, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But they still are Sicilians, they still are Italians, they're still considered white. At the end of the day, even the mainland Italians know there's something different about the Sicilians.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that. I'm aware of that. There's quite a bit of, there's a little bit of animosity between the Sicilian and Italian, but
same old racial bullshit that's been going on for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
You ain't full-blooded, blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. Same shit. History repeats itself, man. It's so scary, but history just keeps repeating itself. We just hate ourselves. The hatred is bullshit. It's all based on bullshit. It's all based on power, control, dominance, and me feeling that you might have dominance because of this angle, so now I have to portray myself and my people in a dominant factor so that we can show that we are above or higher than you. Cool beans, no problem. But when you're trumped and you're destroyed after that, then I don't know. Mika, you need to hop on this panel right quick. Drop some heat. Zikos, you can come over here too. Simply, you're loud. Damn, Simply was going in just real quick. A lot of what happened in the Bible wasn't just planned by man. Again, the Bible is a depiction of history, and then man added his allegory to it. The flood did happen. It always happens. The flood still happens in Egypt. It's an annual occurrence. Matter of fact, it used to happen until they built the dam. Sorry. Now it's a controlled flood in Egypt. But prior to that, the flood always happened. It was an annual seasonal thing. Whose boat?
Down in Florida, or not Florida, but New Orleans or Louisiana, the past month. They would have swore they wouldn't have been surprised if they saw Moses floating by.
I have a National Geographic book from 1980-something. I think it was about 87. And it showed that being that New Orleans started building levees and controlling the water, they destroyed what could have protected them long ago. Because the river basically brings down sediment from the damn glaciers to running down the whole Mississippi Valley all the way to Louisiana. If they would have left that damn stream alone and not tried to control it as much as they did, it would be more land on the Americas out of Louisiana, because the sediment would have just built up the land, and it probably would have been more of a controlled dynamic because it would have been a natural river. It would have caused out deeper paths. It would have widened itself out to a specific level to where we could have produced our crops in that level. Egyptians did it years ago. They understood what the flood was. They didn't try to control it. They knew how to handle it when it came and how to utilize it for its potential. No, we want to structure it. We want to constrict it. We want to make sure it goes straight to the ocean. And that's why these bullshit-ass levees fail. They're going to continue to fail because that type of river system is made to build more land. It's made to bring sediment down, and at the end of it, at the spout when it leads into the ocean, to deposit the sediment and create more land. Louisiana could have been one of the biggest states ever had we not restricted it from deposits of sediment that land there. And that was in 1987 that we knew this shit. It's 2016. We already knew this shit was going to happen. You can't tell me that they didn't plan or predict or know that what was going to happen in Louisiana was going to happen, because them levees wasn't going to hold, especially with erosion. Did we not learn this shit in fucking class? Erosion. Sediment just moving, it's taking shit away. You can build as much as you want, but that water's continuously moving, and it's taking the deposits, it's taking the sediment, and it's spitting that shit into the ocean, building new land. And since everybody channeled it into one specific spot, it goes to a specific spot in the ocean, deposits there, they probably move that shit around, and it's not creating any more land in which it should be creating. It's supposed to be, that river is made to create more land, and they fucked that up.
Can you hear me?
So yes, we can, love. They're going to have continuous destruction from here on out until they break the levees, take the people out of the flood zone, or either build houses that are suitable for the flood zone, and let nature do what nature's supposed to do. What's up, Trish? How you feel about this whole conversation? We've been talking shit. Oh, I've been talking shit. This is why Trish, you gotta take yourself off mute, girl. Come on in the building.
Is that better?
It's real quiet.
Is that better?
Bluetooth.
All right.
Oh, we can hear you. We heard you good from the beginning.
Okay, it kept, the mute sign kept showing, but yeah, they're not going to get rid of those levees. They need them there for availability when they want to clean it out. They blow them on purpose. They've been doing it forever. That's why they built them, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I think I was reading something what she said about I was trying to piece parts of what she just said together. I smoked too much weed, so.
Well, yeah, in the 1940s and around the Great Depression, they had what they call Tent City and the shanties. That's where all the homeless black folks lived. And what they would do was, if they were in that section, they would blow that levee and murder them and drown them, flood them all away, clean it out. And that's what they did during Hurricane Katrina, because the land in New Orleans is rich in minerals, and they've been wanting that land forever, and they took the opportunity to talk about Hurricane Katrina, but yet everybody that lives there, including my family, they all have one thing in common. They heard the explosions before the water came. You hear me?
We went from the History Channel to Conspiracy Channel.
It is what it is. I lost 2 cousins in Hurricane Katrina. 2 cousins dead, cremated.
No, I didn't mean anything by that, really, I swear.
Aunties and cousins relocated. But go on, I'm sorry, I just jumped in on something. Why does my mute button keep showing that it's muted?
Professor V-Dub over there checking his syllabus, probably.
So you can hear me, SEO, right?
Yes.
Okay, because every once in a while my mute button on my end is showing that it's muted. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, that was Slapper.
That was Slapper. Hello, everybody. 436 Entertainment 26.
And that was V-Dub.
We are having technical difficulties.
Vida Boogie back in the building.
Crazy SEO. I'm too high. I'm piecing back together pieces of the conversation.
Well, I mean, what you were saying, you know, because I remember hearing about some of the stuff that you were saying, but I couldn't piece together enough of them to actually comment on it.
Yeah. Well,
And,
they've been doing it for years.
and so
It's
that's what I meant by that. That's what I meant by the conspiracy track. That's all it was. It wasn't a true insult, or I didn't mean that.
No. I didn't take it that way. It's
Good.
I guess I'm touchy because I lost family members and had family members displaced and still displaced behind that, and you know, it's just sad that
Yes, and 99,999 times out of 100,000, I would have had enough tact to not say that.
yeah, no,
So
I know you're not that type of person. But it's fact that it's crazy that all the neighboring communities around the French Quarters were destroyed. The water go around the French Quarters, blow that levee because it brings in a lot of revenue.
It's like I said, I'm not stupid enough to sit here and say, "Oh no, that didn't happen."
Right.
Believe me, I'm not.
And then all the casino boats, like, well, the casino boats, they were messed up too. Yeah, but it's funny that they got the money out of town faster than they warned the people to get out of town. Makes you think. And they say, well, why did they stay? Why did they stay once they heard it was a hurricane? Well, how many natives have, survived those hurricanes real bad? But it was never, it wasn't on that level. It hadn't been on that level in many years since the 40s. Because they blew the levees. It is what it is. And it's not a conspiracy why all those politicians go down after the fact. They were all taking payoffs and bribes, all of them disbanded, starting all over again. Sad. It's like we could get to other countries and help them faster before we help our own, and I don't get that. Like
There's no money in helping people, supposedly.
But okay. But
I'm just saying, in general, it just doesn't seem that way. That they don't think they can make money by helping people. They think they can, that's the only thing they really care about more than anything. I think is making money.
Yeah, and it's like, why? Why'd they let it happen? That was a tragedy right on U.S. soil. They let it happen because here it is. You might have 100 acres. Say you're under the poverty line, and you have 100 acres worth of property, but you live in a shack. And the only thing you have is that land. You don't give a shit you live in a shack. The land is what makes you rich. And they say, okay, I'm going to flood y'all asses off of that goddamn land. And when it comes down to it, this land that was rich in minerals and worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, they're giving them 100,000, some people 75,000, and they're taking it because they have no choice. They don't have enough. It's a trap. It's a catch-22. It's like, yeah, that's your land, but you don't have enough to rebuild. And then they did them like this. Then they said, okay, you gonna keep the land? I got something for you. You're gonna have to clear that land and put fences around that land, or we're gonna seize that land. And I know that for a fact because earlier this year we had to go down there to my uncle in New Orleans, and he's older. He's like 90 something, and he owns land. And we had to clear the land and fence the land, or the land would be seized. So what happens when you're back against the wall? You just take crumbs and you go move on. But it's like legal thievery. I have one go over here and get in the chat room so I can see the chat and what y'all doing. What happened to Vita?
Oh, he's just gonna be right back. I don't know what he's doing exactly. Might run outside for a smoke or something.
Oh, he just said be right back though. Yeah, it's like the laws are supposed to work for you, but they're working against you, and it's like everything was fucked up. But let's dissect this shit. How the hell did you get the money out before the people? Then you put the people up in the dome, and let's really look at who died. People are paying more attention to the looting. I don't give a crap about these people taking TVs. I knew it was stolen, but I didn't care about them looting food and water. I sure didn't. And what about the ones who tried to escape New Orleans and go to the neighboring communities? Those people were standing there with guns saying, you can't come here. You can't come here, so you have no choice but to go to that damn dome. And who was dying up in the dome? Babies and old people. Little babies and old people dying because it had their medications and stuff. But yet we could get water the very next day to Haiti. Isn't that some mess right there? But it's happening right now in Flint, Michigan. We're not going to forget about Flint, Michigan. It's crazy that Cher, the singer Cher, and I'm not a fan of hers, but I like when people do humanitarian stuff. The singer Cher solicited all the USA water companies to send water to Flint, Michigan. They all turned her down. She had to go overseas to get water for Flint, Michigan.
Mm-hmm. That
You
can't
know, that
surprise
part
you.
right there.
That's not a capitalist way of living. Doing that, giving.
Hmm.
That's socialist.
Hmm.
That's
Hey,
socialism.
hey, what's going down? It's SGK over here. Hey, Patricia, I was listening to what you were saying about Katrina, and I don't know if you're aware of this. It's a podcast called The Cows, Context of White Supremacy, and what they did a series on the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and I had no idea how awful it was for Black people. On YouTube, there are videos of white New Orleans. New Orleansians or whatever the fuck that would be, bragging that they shot and killed Black people at random. You
Yes,
know,
there was a sniper. There was a
right?
sniper out there and proud of it.
And that there was New Orleans police shooting Black people. It was the military told Black people. It was this old military constellation or installation, whatever the word would be, that wasn't even being used, and Black people were there seeking shelter. The military told them with guns drawn, get the fuck out. Nobody was even there, but the military went there to pull them out. It was awful. When they other kids from when they put the citizens in other states, the schools were treating the New Orleans kids like shit. The white teachers were
Right,
telling them that you're refugees, and
right.
they were giving them pennies on the dollar for their land, basic or maybe seizing it or making it hard for them to do these necessary updates. Like they're poor already, and now you're saying that you got to put a fence around it or you got to do these updates,
Yes, yes.
but you can't afford it.
Yep.
Hurricane Katrina was one of the worst events in American history for Black people. One of the
Right.
worst. I'm telling
It
you, that
was.
natural. It wasn't just fucking floods and rains. I'm talking about it devastated the Black community, completely
That-
pushed them, displaced them, and pushed them out. And a lot of these things that just it seemed like it has to be more than coincidence that it specifically happened to us.
No,
So when it comes to
it's more
Katrina,
than coincidence. And that's what I was telling SCO. See, I was telling him that a lot of those people have land, and they live below the poverty line, and they have this land, and they live in a shack, but yet they're rich because if you have the land, you have the money. and you have the power over that land. But what happened was they wouldn't sell that land, and they wanted that land because for those of you who do not know, New Orleans is under sea level. If you've ever been there, you see shells and stuff all in the streets, but it makes the land rich in mineral, and they're trying to build it up. They're trying to make it a tourist, what's that, lofts and apartments and condos. They try to modernize New Orleans, but what they did was they flooded that land, and the people were backed up against the wall. Their back was, it's like they were, that land that cost hundreds and thousands of dollars worth that much. Now they're offering them 50, 75, and $100,000, and they're telling you, they're also telling you that, okay, since you won't sell the land, you have X amount of time to clear the land off, clear the land and fence the land, or we're seizing the land. So what do you do when you have no choice? You have no money for a lawyer. America's not listening to you. What do? You take those crumbs and try and rebuild your life somewhere. That's what they stole. They legally robbed those people. And I know this, and then I was telling SEO also, how is it that people, the people who own the casinos, the casino boats and stuff, they try and show you on the news and stuff also. But here's the thing, they got the money out before they got the goddamn people out. There was no money in the banks. There was no money on the riverboats and casinos. That was already gone. So then here you are, you're hurting people, you're calling them refugees, and you're showing us what you want to show us, which is, oh, look at them looting a TV and a car. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Okay, there's stupid people everywhere, but how about you try to run to your neighboring community, and that community has rifles pointed at you, talk about you can't bring your black asses up in here, because yes, there still are sundowner towns in the South, where that means when the sun goes down, you better not have your black ass there, because people are still found hung. People still swinging fruit in the South. They still have segregation in the South, separate schools, separate proms. And if you want to know the truth, slavery was just abolished a few years ago. And just a few years ago, it was still on the books, slavery. So, let's really get it. So then they put them in the dome. But they don't tell you everything that's happening in the dome. The babies are dying, the old people are dying because they don't have their medicines. There's rape in there, there's molestation in there. There's no policing up in there. The people are the police. The people are the police at this time. And it's like, it's sad they don't tell you. Oh, let me tell you personally, I have a cousin. I have two cousins, but one in particular that really touched my heart. She was in she had cancer. She was in the home you go to right before you die, and they had the nerve. All the doctors and the nurses left, but they're asking the patients, "Do you want to go?" Now, she's already half out of her goddamn mind, and she said, "No, I don't want to go." They found my cousin 2 months later floating at the top of the ceiling. We didn't get her body back in a box until 8 months later, but here's the catch. It cost us $4,000 to have her cremated and put in a cardboard box. It's still in my mama's closet. They don't tell you that part.
Hey, on the show, I was telling you they folks' homes, they basically, offering these people a poison fruit, say, hey, you want to stay, knowing that they were had dementia and all this other shit, and Alzheimer's. A lot around in that because the white COs just left them locked the fuck up.
Yeah.
It was truly a just short of a Holocaust, and it's a shame that it devastated the black community like that. And also, it's been reports that when it was going down, they were saying, "Oh shit, these Negroes, they in the dome raping and pillaging," and those were false accounts by lies from the police. They found no proof of any rapes or just wanton violence. What they did have, they proved that the community that was there, they came together. They tried to get as much money for the old and the sick and the children, of savages so that nobody can feel
No,
pity when they
every
drown and
everybody
die.
there were, of course, there is criminal element always. There's always a criminal element, but basically those people band together. The people were helping the people. The people were
Right.
policing the people. There was they didn't even have toilet paper. All the toilets were overflowed, and I'm not, I am not speculating. I'm talking about because I have family members that were there. My whole family is from the South. We they migrated out to California in the Great Negro Migration. A lot of people don't even know about that. But uh, basically, I had about four aunties and uncles and cousins all up in the dome. And I have first-hand account, and they all say the same thing. Not just blood family members. Everybody from there said they heard, and they heard explosions, and then the water came. They knew they blew the levees because they used to do it all the time. The
Hey
last
Pat,
time they did it was in the 40s.
hey Pat, you right. Hey, you know your shit, Pat. Hey, did you see that Spike Lee the Spike Lee movie he did about that? The Creek Don't
Yeah,
Rise? You saw now how accurate was that in your opinion?
I think they did the best they could, but they were on the mark with some things. You know,
All right.
you have to, a lot of time with television, even comedians and stuff, they have to be somewhat politically correct. And I hate politically correct crap because it's a fog. It's a fog. But how Spike Lee has to go through channels in
That's
order to
why
get
it was
some things done.
created, Pat. That's why it was created, Tricia.
Yep.
Political correctness was created to create that fog.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you firsthand accounts for people that were there. Like I was saying, my 90-something-year-old uncle, he almost lost all his land. He used to be a big contractor in New Orleans, and he owned a lot of land. And I mean, my mother had, with my little sister, who was a lawyer, had to go out there earlier this year and have the land cleared from him and have fences put up because they were ready to seize his damn land. Just take it. Don't give him shit.
And see that's what I'm saying, man. And then people want to talk about, oh, black people pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Every time we try to do something, you motherfuckers smack us down. I mean, land that he had to fucking, I mean, break his back for that he, when they try to just take it with the swipe of a pen. I mean, that shit is crazy.
Land. Wait, hold up. Land that he still had to pay taxes on. See the cold part. Land that he was still paying taxes on.
Exactly. Hey
Talk
Pat,
about it was an
just as a question,
eyesore.
I had no clue that you had so much in-depth knowledge about Katrina, because motherfuckers forget about that, man. Katrina was devastating, and this was a
No.
pleasure hearing you go down Katrina memory lane, because this people need to remember this shit. Good job, Pat. Straight up.
Well, thank you. See, the reason why I've been thinking about it a lot lately is because of what is happening in Flint, Michigan. That's a tragedy too. That's happening
Yeah,
right here.
it's crazy how these natural disasters, I'm talking about these poisonous natural disasters. They never strike white people. When white
Chris, you're kind of cutting out quite a bit, brother.
good reason. But when it comes to us, man, it's years of turmoil and despair, and it's fucked up. Flint, Michigan's got
Right.
fucked up water to this day, and it's been there goddamn
Right.
6 months. You know
And
what
they're
I'm
not
saying?
even
It's like
talking about it on the media. They're not even talking about it. That's why I said Cher. It really hit home when Cher went out there. And like I said, I'm not a fan of hers, but she solicited all USA water companies to give Flint, Michigan some water, and they all turned her down. They're getting their water from fucking overseas. Isn't that some bullshit? But yet we can send money overseas the first time somebody whines or something. But look at this shit. But see, people don't realize Flint, Michigan is dominantly poor black people living under the poverty line.
yes, yes, and they were devastated when the auto industry lagged, and when it closed, goddamn, somebody on the Air Force.
Yeah, a plane flew over my house.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were on the landing strip. Anyway, I remember once GM and Ford and all that shit left, Flint was rocks. It was, I mean, it was completely
dropped. You're
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
You don't hear anything about it. But yet, they have proof. See, right before it was dropped on the media, they were starting to come out with the proof that years ago, they gave Flint, Michigan the money to fix those pipelines. They knew it was happening. They knew it.
and again, they stole the money. Yeah, you have a lot of
Yet,
corrupt.
these politicians stole the money.
Not one corrupt white politician will see a second in jail. But we're talking about lead poisoning that's ruining black people's health, ruining black children that they'll never have a shot at, and no
Well,
one goes to prison for it.
it is like it's just it's history repeating itself. You know, I have a documentary on my personal Facebook page telling what happened to from so-called quote unquote the beginning of slavery. You know about how when we first came out here, you know, they realized, okay, change your name so you'll be accepted. So you changed your name. You weren't accepted. Then they said, learn our Christianity. You'll be accepted. And you weren't accepted. Okay, dress like us. Everything we've done, they found out a way to once again, you know, bullshit us. And it's like, didn't you say it's a black on black thing? Well, let me tell you something. We learn from the fucking best.
Chris dropped. Patricia.
Look, I thought I was talking to me though. I didn't realize I'm talking to Chris.
Yep. He's back. He's back though.
You say you're talking to who?
Hey Chris, I was saying that everybody want to bring up black on black crime and stuff, but
You
they
were
don't want to.
speaking. That was Black Rampage, and he dropped off, but I believe he's back on now.
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
I'm
back?
back on. I got a call.
Yeah.
I got a call because I was on my
All right.
phone. But
They don't want to tell you we learn from the best, and I'm keeping it real.
right. You know what's crazy? It's crazy how people say, "Oh yeah, you guys get a bad break." But what if the solution was to stop sending money to Israel? We could fix all our problems. I bet you it'll be a bunch of sweaty yarmulkes. I bet you that.
So I tell you this, I am one for, you know, here. My ancestors are from here. I'm a USA citizen, and I do not believe in sending money no goddamn where while we got all these issues here,
I
homeless.
agree.
I mean,
I agree.
how can I feed you?
Money to Israel needs to stop. Money to Africa needs to stop.
I just, but they have that. They have it.
Yeah, but I know. But what I'm saying is that it's one thing to send money to a country that you're responsible for destroying. You know, the West African seaboard is where America got her slaves.
Money for public defenders need to stop.
Well, you see how it is. We got one mean dreidel on here, and now all money has to stop because you bring up telling Israel, hey, we didn't have nothing to do with what happened over there. We shouldn't be funding your wars against black people. And
Well, Chris, let's stop.
Israel is actually protecting America.
Cat, let's keep it 100. Israel might have protected America, but they are the #1 spy on America.
No, China is.
No, China is not. That shit the fuck up. Israel is #1.
Nope.
Slap her. It's #1.
China is lagging in their corner.
No, they're not.
well, you know what? You know what's crazy about China, and you know it's proposed as if China is on board being the world's factory. So I don't know if it's in anyone's best interest to cross them because they're willing to be, you know, the assembly line for the planet. So, but when it comes to Israel, which I'm in the mood to talk bad about. Who wants to join me? When it comes to them, we always fall short on recognizing.
I thought I was here to learn something, not get trolled, man. Yo, VW, you invited me for this?
I invited you to get trolled. Hey, look, it's
I got
about
you
black
back. You know
origins.
Slap ain't never let you down.
Hey, listen, I put Israel in my origins disclaimer, and I try to tell people that the meeting of the Neanderthal and the medium of the Cro-Magnon or the Homo sapiens sapiens happened in Israel. Man, that's where the archaeological evidence comes from. So, Cap, I'm with you, bro. Israel.
All I'm saying is Israel gets a lot of help from America, and I don't see anything in return. And when I look at Israel's treatment of
Black man pays
Africans
sharks at
particularly,
price right. You can't trust anything he says.
I do.
He
I'm not.
buys aftermarket meat.
Man, Chris gets all this information from Curious. I ain't even trying to fucking
Oh my.
his mind. Yeah, well, what the
Backs
fuck
away
does
from
Chris know?
conversation.
What the fuck does Chris know? Chris doesn't know shit. Hey,
Cosign.
Chris,
Cosign.
Chris, continue to
BRK.
drive your Uber driver. I don't want you to get a bad report from talking shit while you're supposed to be driving people around.
Oh, well, I'll do that. But this is what's gonna
All
make
right,
my time
so now that
my
you said you
time
can
at
do that,
Uber.
I want to learn. I want to hear what Vita has to say, not what you have to say. I didn't even know you were on here.
Well, here,
V-Dub has had his monologue. It's Trish's turn. It's the panel's turn now.
BRK.
Well, I pretty much said what I had to say about Katrina. If I feel something you talking about, I'll jump in.
hey, I'm sorry, I had muted myself on accident.
It's Chris versus Israel.
What
Let's
gets me
go.
through my day is bad talking Israel. So, like I was saying, Israel
All right, y'all have
as a
at it, y'all.
nation,
Check y'all later.
All right, Cap.
then
All
now
right,
my
Cap.
bad talking of Israel will go a lot better because it'll go uninterrupted. So when we're talking bad about Israel, as I'm about to do, we have to look at their history on with their treatment of black people. Cause see, I'm not a big, Israel has a beef with the Arabs. I don't see why they're mad that the Arabs are mad. I mean, they literally were given that land by the British and the U.S. White Jews giving white Jews, that land. Palestine had existed before then. And so they took it, and the Arabs are pissed. And then they're like, hey, why are they mad? Why are they shooting us? Well, we see what you guys do on the West Bank. You use your power to strangle them. And then you want to say that this is God's land and have the same mystic crazy shit that the jihadists have. So that's what's crazy. But to show you how Israel does the African, because I'm black, that's all I give a fuck about, because you'll have an Arab will enslave an African just like a Jew will. What they'll do to the black person is send them from Ethiopia to Israel and then sterilize the women and then jail them, prosecute them, put them in ghettos and slums as their gift. They'll say that we believe you got some part of Judaism or whatever the fuck in you. You can come here and leaving your paradise in Ethiopia to come live in our slums, unable to procreate and things like that. So that's Israel. So Israel and Jews, they like to sit here and talk about, they're the world's greatest victims, which is horse shit because they victimize to this day. And it's not based on we love Jews. If it was just Judaism versus the world, then the Ethiopian Jews wouldn't be treated like shit. Killed up, unarmed by the police, just like we do here. And that's why I have this strong theory, not theory, my motto is wherever you find blacks and non-blacks, you will find black abuse. And so Picard, he's so pro-Israel that it's against his religion to hear anything anti-Israel. He can't accept any wrongdoing that nation has done and will refuse for any corrective action. The United States had nothing to do with the fucking Holocaust. Why does the U.S. pay them for that? Why does the U.S. pay them for anything? You want to know why?
Well, Chris,
Because
I might have to stop you. America had a lot to do with the Holocaust. America had a lot to do with the Holocaust based on the Margaret Sanger and the eugenics program. Hitler studied that. We had a lot to do with the Holocaust with financing. Prescott Bush was the one who helped finance Hitler. So America had a lot to do with the Holocaust.
okay. So what I'm saying is this. I'm talking about. It's not an American directive. If Hitler learned from Southern whites in America how they treated the Negro, because you have Shark Island where Hitler went to Africa, went to that island and practiced his tricks on the Africans before he went to he tried it at home. So
You said Shark Island, right?
right.
You just said Shark Island. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
undeniable,
That
right?
that was the original genocide. That was
Right,
the
right.
original genocide. It
That
was
that
for
was
the
the
Jews.
ground zero. That's where he practiced. That's where that's where he perfected his methods before he took it to the ovens. But my point is this: he may have studied the Americans, and there might have been, some banking that can be traced back to that. But what I'm saying is, this wasn't an order by America. This wasn't something that America, they may have turned, may have been late to the party, but not enough to the point to where they're constantly paying Israel yearly billions of dollars just to sit there. Um, I mean, really, Israel needs America as its attack dog or as its warning to the Arab nations more than America needs Israel. And I'm not pro-America because I feel like that money that they're taking from, that they're giving Israel could be put back in these ghettos for these black people that, deserve it. SGK.
Slap gang, bitches. Oh, damn, it didn't have to stop.
What happened? I guess they say what they had to say and said, fuck it.
No. My bad. I'm trying to do two things at once, so I'll be back on just 1 second.
All good, Chris. Yeah, I don't think it would be too terrible of a thing to cut off a lot of that funding.
Well, I do have issues when
we pay a couple of countries not to invade Israel.
Right. I'm feeling some type of way, SEO, because how can we clean somebody else's kitchen when ours is dirty? And not every homeless person is on drugs or alcohol. Our mental health system is fucked up. We need funding for the mental health system. We need funding for a lot of shit. And right now, I'm feeling some type of way about funding other people when Flint needs water. We need better mental health care. We need so much.
Hey, I agree. I agree 100%. And and the reason why, I'm looking at I point the finger at Israel and its relationship with America is because they get the biggest slice of that domestic foreign policy pie. And it's unfair. You look at how we have completely formed and funded their army, their technology. All of that shit comes from the U.S. As far as the funding goes, and for what? What does Israel do for the U.S. that the U.S. needs so much of? I mean, it's not like it's going to be an exodus of all the Jewish people here. You
Can
know
I
what I'm
hop
saying?
in? Can you hear me?
It's political relations.
Yes.
It's all
Can
political.
you hear me?
Yes, V-Dub.
Yeah.
All right, cool. He was saying that Israel gets a lot of their shit from the Americans. Wrong. We actually finance them to use a lot of our technology, and then they turn around and spy on us with it. That's the fucked up part of our relationship.
Yeah.
But again, Israel is the number one spy against the United States.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's crazy. They're so ingenious because what they'll do is they'll get information and then they'll let pieces of it out to Arab nations. Be like, hey, we ain't your enemy. Look at what they're doing over here, and that buys them more time. It's crazy. It's crazy because
It's
and we
genius.
just yeah, it is genius. But what I don't get about the whole situation about the Arabs, they all have this big beef with Israel. Oh, it's the Judas, the Zionists, and all this other shit. But you got Egypt, you got the Saudi Peninsula, you got all of North Africa is all Arab Muslim, and yet none of you motherfuckers have the nuts to go against them. I never understood that.
You had Gaddafi.
Surrounded by armies, and they don't get touched. And yet you have Palestinians in Israel getting slaughtered every day, children, women, whoever.
Cap is an asshole.
Cap
is right. Cap, you're right. Israel with nukes has no fear of a Palestinian throwing a rock at a tank.
Hold on. First of all, let me just score this dumb motherfucker. Where did you get that information from?
Who are you talking to? Skull?
Score.
Oh.
Syria.
Why don't white crowd, Chris? Why don't white crowd? Chris gotta be quiet. Let them fight.
I thought I read that we paid a couple of
Put
countries.
a link.
Hit him, Cap, hit him. You hit him, I'll follow up.
Show me the link.
Show that link, nigga. Show that link.
Cause right now you're being as dumb as Chris.
I want to know what link y'all talking about.
I want to see linkage.
Yeah, I want to see it because I want to know what Skull talking about. I want to know what Cap talking about, man.
I want to see why America is paying Israel, other countries, to not attack Israel.
Because America's the greatest.
I want to see who's trying to attack Israel.
Nobody's going to attack Israel.
I know
nobody's going to attack Israel because they don't have nukes.
America is paying other countries to avoid Israel, to not attack Israel. Where's that link?
I might say Pakistan might be one of them, but I can't confirm or deny that allegation.
Why would America pay Pakistan to not throw rocks at nuke-infested Israel? During the Gulf War, when America was going to war with Iraq and all these motherfuckers, and all their Humvees and aircrafts were failing in desert warfare, they went to Israel that saved American troops' ass with their fucking technology to fight in desert landscape.
What can you do?
And you might be right. Israel was the first to go bomb Saddam Hussein's nuclear facilities as they were being built. Israel did that first. I'll give them that.
The F-22 Raptor and the F-35 are 85% designed by Israeli tech to fight throughout the Middle East. That's what that jet was designed for.
Right. But it's American dollars that built that jet.
The LTE on your phone.
But the
connectivity.
Technology comes from Israel. There is why I keep telling you that Israel is the #1 spy. They build predominantly most of the technology because where do we need the technology to fight?
#1 spy. I'm in the industry and
I will never deny that.
I've got my degree in it. Israel's not the #1 spy. Israel's the #1 protector. China has been the #1 spy, along with Russia coming second. Israel gives America all its cybersecurity needs. I can post links, not links from bullshit websites that are one-sided. I can post market links.
How do you find a weakness in American security?
That's what I was just getting to. I can provide links from credible websites, like I'm talking about official market websites, showing you how much Israel invests in. America invests in Israel technology to protect America from these external cyber attacks.
But this is what I'm saying. But this is how cold the Jew is that he'll make a problem, and then he'll make you pay him to figure out the problem. Then he makes you pay him to solve it.
Where do you get that information from?
Because that foreign aid, all of the billions.
Chris, I ain't even directing my conversation at you. I ain't trying to argue with a drug dealer right now. So continue driving Uber.
That's fine.
Ain't nobody trying to talk you up.
Let's talk about it, Kat. Let's address it because there is the problem with inside.
Chris is doing exactly what he's saying. Conflict. Chris is inventing a problem or some bullshit that has no existence in reality, and then wants to argue about that point. He's trying to victim on me, and I ain't going there with him.
No.
I'm
You took the ball
I'm
to
gonna
me.
talk to you rationally though. I'm
Well,
gonna
listen.
ask you.
All I did was make points that are real. There's a ton. Israel.
What were you saying, V-Dub?
Did you hit him with the mute? You ain't shit. I promise you. I'm chilling. Why did you hit him with me? That's fucked up. But what I was saying is
You
that
were saying something. You were saying you're coming at me
inside that
rationally.
ideology, right? Inside that ideology, we realize that if I have a problem with the Arabs, just like America, I would create a scenario, then promote it, then conduct it as a strategy in
Oh,
order
so
to get
Israel's
those who
killing
I
troops
need.
and so Israel's
No,
beheading
I
troops
think
and
Israel plays politics.
every country plays politics. It's called politics.
There you go. So all I'm saying is, politically, it's a smart move to create a conflict inside the Middle East,
But
and we
what
be
I'm
your
saying is,
friends. And
I'm not pro-Israel. What I'm trying to say is I'm pro-truth. What I'm saying is, V-Dub, I agree with your statement there, but Israel has no need to create this shit when this shit's already ready-made. Why would they? They have no time
no,
to
they
create
don't.
new shit.
But they have a stake in keeping it a certain way so that they're protected. Because if we switch it a different way, the West Bank and the whatever the other side is called, it's up for grabs. You know what I'm saying? The expansion of Israeli territory inside the West Bank, that's going to be a problem outside of the rationalization of what you're saying. Well, Israel trying to protect himself. So what I'm saying is either incorporate the Palestinians or give them their own territory.
They've had their own territory.
They've had it and they've lost it over many of years, Cap. You know, like I know, they've lost land over 50 or
during the Clinton
40 years.
administration.
They've
During
been
the Clinton
losing land.
administration, we gave them a lot of land. During the Clinton administration,
And the problem now is that that same land that was given during the Clinton administration is being encroached upon by settlers. Is that
because
not a
they're
problem in
using it.
Israel?
They've been using it.
They're using it to
Attack
shoot rockets.
Israel even further, and they want more and more and more.
So obviously, it was given to the wrong people and not structured properly within the government. And that way, it was used to throw rockets to Israel. And now I understand.
Rabin was saying that for a long time, and that's why Rabin died.
No, but I can understand why I would want to go over there and build a settlement. But then you got to understand that building a settlement in this territory that was allocated to these people is a problem. Now, do you want to throw big ass rockets and point them at these people so that when I give you this settlement, if you decide to shoot a rocket, I'm going to blow up your whole settlement? Oh no, that's a situation I might be able to condone. I'm giving you land. I'm giving you property. You can grow. You can live. You can eat. Whatever you want to do. Just don't shoot Alakusha or Alakusha rockets towards my city, and I don't have to destroy your whole town. If they decide to shoot a rocket when Israel busts off back, B-Dub Boogie doesn't have a problem. You do understand that, right? I don't have a problem with you busting off your rockets at somebody who's shooting at you based upon an agreement. Now, if they let go of the agreement,
non-stop
they gotta
shot. Like, remember when France got blown up, like one of their, stadiums got attacked 2-3 months ago, whatever?
You gotta chill, yo. It was a train station. It was a train station in Paris.
We call that in Israel Monday morning. They get attacked on the daily.
Did I miss something?
Yo, Chris, I'm trying to have a conversation with V-Dub.
Hold on, Chris. Just give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. 30 seconds. Let me
I want to argue valid points before I get this troll over here to make up points to argue about.
But listen, Dirty
Oh
Jew.
my God!
Let's talk about. Chris.
This is like serious.
Let me highlight my Jew.
You gotta mute Chris.
I ain't gonna mute him. No, because he can control himself. He's a grown man. He can control himself. And me and you can have this conversation, and everybody else can chime it after me. So now let's go back to the Israeli American.
No, like I was saying, that's called Monday morning in Israel. They've gotten attacked every fucking day for 6 months straight. And all America and other countries are begging Israel not to do is flatten their fucking land.
Now, I know you don't believe in karma, as it's called, but you probably believe, well, you're an atheist to begin with. But what goes around comes around sometimes, right? And what I'm saying is that when you afflict and oppress a certain people, another people might come in to justify or be the justice of what you did to these other people. Do you condone what's going on with the Ethiopians in Israel?
What about us taking them away from their land of rape gangs and bullshit and
No, they're
sterilizing?
not being taken away, Cat. They're not being taken away. They're running to Israel as exiles in a country in which they should be incorporated into as being Jews, original Jews and Jews, right? But when they come there with the color of their skin, they're sterilized and put inside concentration camps.
I want to know where this conversation is going. Are we talking about warfare and spying, or are we talking about Ethiopians again?
Now we're going to go back. We can talk about both, but we were talking about spying. But what I'm asking you is that if a Jew comes into Israel, they should be accepted, right? Because I know Jews here that don't have Ethiopian skin, and they tell me that they're going to Israel because they're allocated a free trip as being an American Jew to go to Israel.
What I do know about the story when they were coming to Israel, whatever it was, there was a ton of rape gangs, violations by their own people, Ethiopian versus Ethiopian.
Classic white racist black on black crime.
God.
Classic white racist black on black.
Now, as we were bringing them over.
Hey, that's a lie. He just started off with a lie. So everything after that is going to be a lie. That's a lie. It was called Operation Solomon Lift. They brought them over, promising them that they can incorporate into the society equally.
Now, as I was saying.
What they gave them was sterilization and racism. That's how the Jew works.
A drug dealer telling how to
do. Cat. Here goes the problem. He's not lying. That is the name of the operation. That is what happened. I do have the evidence, and it's posted on my Instagram.
So he's gonna jump in every time I'm in mid-sentence and talk over me.
No, I don't know if he's gonna jump in.
He started lying.
But what he just said was accurately
Chris, your
correct.
whole shit is about lies. Every fucking point you ever bring is a lie.
Well, here's the truth. I don't have a Jew nose.
You know, if I was to reciprocate with that kind of racism,
and a joke,
that's going to be a problem.
That is not going to work, Chris, because right now we're not on Real Game Radio, nor are we on Dre's show or anybody else's show. This shit means facts. You're going to have to put
fair enough.
Facts out. Hey, I mean, listen, I will pull out. Go ahead and pull up the historical documents, and I will share your screen to everybody.
And that's not a problem, man. I don't give a fuck. I was talking about what I know to talk about. I don't know, like, all that shit about what happened with Ethiopia. I'm not privy on that.
But that's the problem. That might be a situation. Wait, Chris, hold on.
About warfare, cybersecurity, and things of that nature. That's something I could talk about all day.
Yeah, but that's a different allegory. That's a different system of government intervention. What we're talking about is the lower levels, the caste of how a society can cast out another ethnicity, be based on how they feel. And now we're going into the lower levels of our society, like America or Donald Trump coming in and say, I'm kicking out all these Mexicans with criminal rates, and that's the problem America faces. But Israel already had that problem in bringing in Ethiopian women and sterilizing them because they don't want them to procreate inside the country because those children would be incubated.
When I looked that up and I asked friends over there, they said it was a temporary sterilization.
It was temporary, Cat? That is a problem I'm going to have. It's not temporary because I got video after video showing that that's a problem, and that might be on my other channel.
Hey, listen.
That's a current problem.
Did they offer that to the Russian Jews, to the Polish Jews? Give me a fucking...
They weren't having the same problem as the Ethiopians were, Chris.
Hey, Picard is a racist, man.
Yeah, racist. He's an Israeli, and he's going to protect his country. I don't I don't
But that makes me a
admire.
racist, though. You notice what he
No, no,
does? That makes me a racist.
wait. No, that makes you a cultural person who protects your culture. Just like I don't appreciate half of these motherfuckers appropriating black culture and rap culture and claiming it as their own and their society because they can spit in Arabic or Israeli or Russian. Fuck out of here. It's rap. It's ours. Leave it the fuck alone and claim it what it's supposed to be, right or wrong.
Dub, to say that he's just a countryman is like saying that the Confederates were countrymen. Just because they're doing
the Confederates were countrymen.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that they were racist first and foremost. That's what I'm saying. When he sits here and says, "Oh, I looked that up," they said it was temporary. But even still, to justify that racist act, I mean, it doesn't get more racist than your ability to put other people on.
They were getting impregnated by their own fucking rape gangs.
That's false. That's another lie. There is no rape gang link that you can put up here. Oh, the Ethiopians were running from Ethiopian rape gangs. That's horseshit.
No, they're running for a lot more than that.
But why bring it up if what you're saying is...
Cap, the only problem I have, Cap, is that their communities were actually destroyed by Israelis. That's the only, I can literally find that evidence in that documentation. I don't want to have that argument here, but the documentation and evidence goes that when these Ethiopians and these, there's actually some black Hebrew Israelites that went to Israel, and their communities were destroyed by Israeli Jews to where they had to rebuild that stuff. So the problem I'm having is, why are you chastising these people while allocating them land? Even though you give them the worst of the worst land,
right?
Why are you putting them in this position?
I'll tell you like this,
to where they need to be chastised.
I have a big problem with talking about shit I don't know. If that's what they're doing, and Chris is right, they're fucked up, and I do not agree with it. But none of us have all that information.
I got videos. I got videos of Israelis cursing.
I'll let you finish what you're going to say, but let me finish what I'm going to say at least one time. Just one time.
No problem.
All right. If that's what I can only talk about, what I'm privy to and what I know, so like personally, where I've been, what I know. When it comes to other shit, I can't really talk about it. If y'all finding this shit off of like some YouTube channel or some kind of propaganda website, I ain't gonna talk about it because I don't know. If what Chris is saying is true, that's fucked up. And that's disgusting. Israeli or not.
Oh, well, shit, you can't argue with that.
Here's why I fuck with you, Kat. Because you
like
just said something that a lot of other Israelis have said. Yo, if these Jews is out here doing that, yeah, that's fucked up. Because I don't stand on that side.
Why would y'all know me for me?
They stand at the Wailing Wall. They stand, and I'm not blaming you, Cap. Let's keep it 100. I'm not blaming you or people who feel like you.
Oh, I'm blaming you, Cap.
These other Chris ain't shit. But these other Jews stand at the Wailing Wall and they proclaim that these Africans don't belong or these people don't belong, and they're very disrespectful and racist in their rhetoric. And these videos are posted all around.
And every country has those Confederate type people over there. I agree with that.
Fuck yeah, we got Skohar's cousins. I mean, we got P-Flet's cousins. I mean,
fuck Skohar. I'm gonna deal with Skohar later.
I'm just saying.
Why? I'm right here.
We had to fuck with you, Sko.
After this conversation.
This fuckery 101. Matter of fact, what time is it? Hey, Flat, where you at, man? Because your show, this some shit for your show. This ain't.
Wow. Man, I was just chilling. I came back. I saw there was some fuckery. I'm on the sidelines. I'm in the hood right now.
I ain't mad at you.
Well, you know what, man? Hey, Dub, I want to apologize. My joke to Picard, I forgot this is this ain't the platform for that. That's my bad, family. You over here teaching. You know, I just, but you know.
I ain't teaching. We having a discussion, and it's real.
Well, no,
it's just very passionate. It's hard not to be passionate.
Well, right, but I think Picard's passion comes from passionate racism. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to these issues of racism and things like that, for him to say that he's completely blind to it, but you know the intricacies of fucking telecommunications warfare. I mean, it's horseshit. CNN has reported on these this racism, and this isn't a few. This is the Israeli community. Just like it's not just a few white people in America. This is the white collective is anti-black. So what I'm saying is that these aren't just outliers. This is the vast majority. You know, the skulls represent a very small minority of white people. And just like let's say Fakar's not racist, he represents a very small minority. It's not a surprise that all synagogues are all white. It's no surprise that a Jew can marry a Gentile, and that's no problem. But you can't do that with blacks. So what I'm saying is these are all deliberate and intentional acts that he's not ignorant of. He just doesn't give a fuck. Okay, Dub, you putting up dishes. I feel you.
Oh, that's crazy. Turn the liquor bottle away. My fault.
Sound like you at the bar.
Mute. I'm at the bus stop, nigga.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going live. SGK.
Fuck you, duck ass nigga.
Yo, the bus stop against SGK. We about to swarm that nigga show, man. Fuck that. I'm about to end this shit, because we about to swarm Chris show right now.
Fuck
Yo,
y'all.
Cat, everybody. You
Send
heard
the link,
SGK
the
going
link to
live.
the
And if
hangout.
he don't go live, I got to figure it out. As soon as he put a link up, we all in the building. Everybody. Trish, you there too. We want Tree
Yeah,
TV,
make sure I get a
everybody.
link.
In the
Cause I ain't
building.
nowhere near the crib right
We
now.
got to swarm on Chris show.
Yeah, he fucking with Chris.
So we gonna swarm on this nigga show. I know Cat bought this one because he about to get his cooking on.
You gonna have to put the link to, I don't know, his show. What is it called?
It should be Drazen Black.
Yeah.
What's it called?
DRAZEN. DRAZEN. Drazen Black.
Drazen
He
Black.
went live, because I know I'm still live. All right, everybody. Now that we was live and we had this show educating Oshay, so Oshay Duke Jackson, you probably gonna have to go to the beginning of the show when I was addressing you. This ending of the show was pure fun and fuckery and debate. I got much love for my man Cat, being Israeli, and I love having him here to discuss and debate these topics.
Yeah, I like that.
So, shout out to Cat, shout out to Chris, shout out to Trish, shout out to Slap, shout out to Scott, the Rinse Master, and shout out to B-Dub. I was just doing this show to have a conversation with Oshay Duke Jackson. It turned into much more.
I enjoy.
Everybody, yeah, have a good one. Slap it down live tonight.
Show enough.
I think Drazen Black is going live, and it's Drazen Black against the bus stop, and we shall show up and find him. I will post the link. I'll post the link in this hangout immediately as soon as I find it, and if I don't, well, y'all show up at Slap It Down show, because that's going to be where it's at.
Yeah.
I might not make
Thanks
it,
for
Slap.
having
I
me.
need to go to bed. Of course, Trish. I invited Tree, but he probably knocked the fuck out. Tree, he's always invited to the spot. Slap's always going to be here. That's my ride and die homie right there. Everybody else, much love to you. Yes, sir. Yeah, this is the bus stop, on the way to the bus stop. I'm going to call this on the way to the bus stop. That's going to be my show next, on the way to the bus stop.
All right.
Word up. Other than that, man, I appreciate everybody who joined in the conversation. Anybody who clicked in, liked, chimed in, didn't like, just listened. Shout out to you and you and all. We are going to be back live again. I will try to join the Slap It Down live show in the beginning, but if not, I'll join it in the end. To everybody else, I think I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for allowing me to have my rhetoric earlier. And thank you for the conversation that we had afterwards. No matter how much people feel the way they feel, Chris Cat, it was a great conversation. It was dialogue that needed to be had and understanding that needed to be warranted, and this is what I do, and I'm glad I'm able to keep doing it. But we're going to go to Slap Show, and we're going to do it even harder, even stronger, and in a different context. So, good
All
people.
All right.
The V-Dub Boogie Show is now over, and enjoy yourself. I don't know what y'all going to do for the after show, but I'm out.
All right.